This video is about a one-shot manga that was just released the other day. It is focused on the 4th Hokage, who is also known as Naruto's father, Minato Namikaze. The name's Onii-Chan Enghan, bringing you this story. Let's get started. The manga begins with a panel showing concern in Minato's eyes. We see that he is battling the Jinchuriki of the 4-tail and 5-tails beast, along with other ninjas. The enemies told them that if they plan to match them, they should have brought the 9-tails Jinchuriki. Now, if you remember, during this time Naruto didn't exist yet, and the holder of the 9-tailed beast was Naruto's mother, Kushina. In the next scene, the legendary Sannin Jiraiya appears, and he is the one leading Minato's team. He ordered Minato's team to retreat first to avoid the attacks of these tailed beasts. The enemies immediately unleashed tailed beast bombs or Bijudama, but before they hit, our hero was able to perform his iconic technique, Hiraishin no Jutsu, or better known in English as the Flying Thunder God technique. They were suddenly transported to a far-off place by that technique, and Jiraiya and the rest of the team thanked Minato, claiming they were saved by a special technique. Minato also mentioned how powerful the tailed beasts are, and in his mind he said, "And one of them is inside her." The scene then shifts to a silhouette that resembles a monster, which tells its new vessel if it understands fear and resentment, saying it feels more imprisoned than that monster. It turns out that Kushina is talking to this monster, and she asks it to come closer so she can set it free. She suddenly woke up, and we find out that it was all just a dream. She looked out her window and realized that the same scenery and the usual 2 guards were still there. A guard asked her about the schedule for today, and she said that she has sealing technique training with Minato. That's what she said. Another guard told her not to leave the barrier no matter what happens, and she said that she knows that already. We also see that Kushina seems to have feelings for Minato at this time. She met Minato to teach her the sealing techniques, which we know are a specialty of the Uzumaki clan. But Minato told her that their training session is on hold because he wants to train a different technique somewhere else, and he just wanted to inform Kushina. Kushina was somewhat annoyed and asked Minato what kind of technique it was, where was he talking about, and why he needed to tell Kushina. Minato said he couldn't say it because the technique was still incomplete and it's very dangerous. Kushina became furious and told him that if he didn't want her to join him, he should just say it directly. Suddenly, someone called Minato's name, and his ninja teammates along with some female ninjas who seemed to have a crush on him appeared. His team said that they were summoned by the 3rd Hokage to report on their mission. He quickly said goodbye to Kushina and left. Kushina tried to follow him but was stopped by the Anbu who were guarding her, which frustrated her. It turns out that the line she crossed was the area they referred to as outside the barrier, and it forms a spiral pattern, which is also the logo of the Uzumakis. There was a flashback where an elderly woman was shown. The old woman, by the way, is Mito Uzumaki. She is the wife of Senju Hashirama, and she was telling young Kushina that the vessel needs to find love, so that even if she becomes a Jinchuriki, she can still find happiness in life. Love? Kushina asked, and yes, it cannot be obtained by waiting alone. So girls, don't just wait, okay?
What?
The old woman then invited her to go outside. When they came out, the guard told her that she should just lie in bed. But old Mito said she just wanted to show something to Kushina and they wouldn't stay long. Then it quickly goes back to the present time where Kushina attacks the guards watching over her using her sealing technique. They tried to escape from it, but they couldn't because of its durability, and she even remarked that it was getting stronger every year. She managed to escape until she reached the end of the barrier. She had to think if she would continue to pass through it, but she still did it in the end. We can see that Kurama seems to be pleased with this event because his escape within Kushina would be easier. Kurama also pointed out that the Uzumaki clan has become arrogant in using their sealing power. They use it, but they are also used by it, and they are drowning and bound in the vortex of the times. Only Kurama can supposedly free her from the situation that put her in that state, and she should not forget her anger and should not trust anyone. In the next scene, we see Minato and Jiraiya sensei training, and Minato seems to be having a hard time. Jiraiya remarks that during his time, when shaping chakra, you need to match its rotation to the whirl on your head. Minato asked if it's true or just a rumor. Jiraiya said that's what he does when shaping chakra, so it's tried and tested effective. Then he had Jiraiya look at his whirl. Jiraiya was stunned and said that Minato actually had 2 whirls. And what's even more extreme is that the direction of their swirls is different. Because of this, they both didn't know which direction he should shape it in, so they just decided to take a break. Jiraiya then took out 2 popsicles, split it in 2, and asked Minato which one he wanted. Well, to be fair, it does seem like Jiraiya had a refrigerator or cooler with him. Well, anyway, Minato was surprised because he was asked to choose when any would have been fine with him. Minato then realized something. Not long after that, the technique he was practicing became successful, and he named it the Halo Hair Whirl of Jiraiya, inspired by Frozen Dessert Twin-style sphere. Jiraiya was unimpressed by the name, and since Minato was able to execute the jutsu he was practicing, Jiraiya excused himself to get missions. After a moment, Kushina suddenly arrived at Minato's training area. When she was asked why she was there and if it was okay for her to be there, she lied and said that she was given special permission by the 3rd Hokage to leave the barrier restriction. Minato believed this and mentioned that this must be the reason why she didn't have any guards with her at that moment. She apologized to Minato because she had yelled at him earlier, but Minato replied that he should be the one apologizing because he broke their promise to train together. Kushina then asked him if the technique he performed earlier was what he was studying. Minato was surprised that Kushina had been watching them all along. Minato confessed that he couldn't fulfill their promise because he wanted to master that technique as soon as possible. He had created that technique to protect her. They were indeed in a war right now, and one cannot predict when Kushina might be ordered to fight on the battlefield. The enemy nations might also release their tailed beast Jinchurikis. Hence, he created that technique to correspond with Kushina's large chakra pool as a Jinchuriki. And the reason was because he didn't want to lose Kushina, which warmed Kushina's heart. Suddenly, Kurama made its presence felt and Kushina's head began to hurt. We could see that Kushina was slowly going into tailed beast mode, and a tail appeared that attacked Minato. The scene then shifted inside Kushina's body, where Kurama said, "I told you not to trust anyone because the day will come when he will use you, so remove this seal completely. If you do that, you will be free from your suffering, but if you don't, I will kill you." She suddenly stopped attacking and someone used a sealing technique. It turned out that Minato was the one who did it in the physical world. Kurama was also surprised that he was able to perform such a powerful sealing technique even though he wasn't from the Uzumaki clan. He even compared to Minato to Hashirama Senju's level. Kurama then asked him why he wanted to mingle with a Jinchuriki like Kushina, and Minato said that he liked strong people, especially those who were stronger than him. That's why he loved Kushina and wouldn't be able to bear if she were just to disappear. Kushina was moved to tears at this point. A flashback then occurred where Mito told a young Kushina that they had lost everything. Their clan, known as the Shinobi attuned to the swirling air currents of the world, excelled in life force and sealing techniques. Their powers were used on the battlefield so that the existence of their clan was sealed in the vortex. But their power can supposedly bring balance. Their family crest is used to enhance the sealing power of the Jinchuriki, and it can also match the person outside as it is double layered. Kushina then asked if she could really tame the Nine Tails. Mito said that for her, Kushina is indeed a strong and admirable child. Kushina asked if that's what she wanted to show her. Mito said what she wanted to show was above. Kushina looked up and said, "The Vortex Staircase?" Mito corrected her and said it's not a vortex, but a spiral, and they climbed the stairs. According to Mito, the whirlpool is always flat, like an image that doesn't change, but the spiral is three-dimensional. Although it spins in the same way, its floors change and the scenery also changes. Kushina asked again what was at the top, and Mito said, "The one that's inside the vessel in me." When they climbed to the rooftop, Kushina was happy. Mito said she climbs there when times are hard. Kushina asked while looking at something, "Is that the one you were talking about in her vessel?" Mito agreed and said, "Indeed, we may be inside the vortex, but if you try to climb it, you will also find love. If you do this, the vortex will surely become a spiral." The scene returns to the present, with Kushina in beast mode and releasing her chakra chains that surround Kurama. Kurama got angry and prepared to attack. In the physical world, Minato noticed that Kushina was waking up and told her that they can handle it together. Kurama went berserk inside Kushina and broke the chain surrounding him. Because of this, Kurama controlled Kushina's body, transformed her, and attacked Minato. Kushina saw this and told him to escape, but Minato said he would never leave Kushina. Kurama angrily said to remove his sealing hand. Kushina is his Jinchuriki and Minato has nothing to do with it. Suddenly, they noticed something and Kushina remembered what Mito told her. Yes, they are vessels of the Nine Tails. But before that, the vessel needs to find love and let it enter her heart. The scene moved to where Minato entered the place where Kurama was imprisoned and said, "I am always within Kushina." Kushina tightened her sealing chains and simultaneously, Minato and Kurama attacked, shouting that he would never give Kushina to him. In the next scene, we see Minato and Kushina in the hospital with Tsunade and Jiraiya. Kushina hugged him tightly, which made him smile. After Minato recovered, they began to plan their training, but Kushina also mentioned that the technique Minato used earlier was almost similar to the Nine Tails attack. She asked him how he developed it. Minato said he used the attacks of the Jinchuriki as a reference to create that technique, just as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. He wanted to share that technique with Kushina to use as a counter to other Jinchuriki, and he again mentioned the very long name of the technique which Kushina thought was corny. Kushina said since he created that technique for her, she will name it. Kushina took Minato to the place where she talked to Mito at the top of the spiral staircase. And as she looked at Minato, she said, "Rasengan," which means spiraling sphere. That's what she would name that technique. Minato smiled and agreed that it's a good name. We see his face lines up with the images of the past Hokage, where his image will also be placed in time. And there ends this video. It's nice to see Minato, Jiraiya, and Kurama in the story again. We also better understand the Uzumaki clan's position in the village, the beginning of Minato and Kushina's relationship, the reason why Naruto has a strong wind elements affinity, and even the origins of the iconic technique Rasengan. Thank you for watching, and if you want more anime and manga content, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on upcoming videos. Again, this is Onii-Chan. See you next time, guys.